Hey, everybody. It's Josh Morris with the Everything Paranormal Show, and thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope it's going to be a good show. I hope you stick around. So don't click off this, just hang out. We're going to have a good show. We're going to talk about some paranormal. That's what we're all about here, folks. And I'm excited because we got some different things we're going to talk about. One of them is going to be we're going to talk about some big paranormal, big locations. It's definitely something I want to address because I know a lot of people watch paranormal. Not everybody gets a chance to go to these big locations. So it's certainly something I want to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about as well is we're going to get into communication, those type of things. But mainly, guys, I'm really excited. So let's just dive in. I know. Hopefully, we got some people that's going to start popping in here. If you guys have any questions, feedback, you guys know the routine. Just hop in there and chat away. So, guys, one thing I want to say is that it's really exciting because tonight, um, my wife and I were packing to leave and go out of town. We're going to a couple big locations back to back. When I say big locations, we're talking about the big ones, guys. You know what I mean? And I don't want to just give it away. We did talk about it in the past, but there's multiple locations. But guys, think like in the lines of like Penhurst or Trans Allegheny Insane Asylum, like big places, right? Waverly Hills, big places, right? So we get to go to a couple big places back to back. And that's always exciting because we're going to be able to not only film, but bring you guys there. We're going to do a little bit of live. Um, I don't know exactly to what will all go live, what all you'll be able to see. I don't know, but I like to include. I like to include you all when I can. You guys know that. So I'm excited about this. Hopefully, um, hopefully you guys, because I know for myself, like my wife and I in the past, we did investigations, we did tons of residential cases. We didn't always get to go to like the big locations. There was a lot of locations that weren't always like a big deal back then. And so we did a lot of residential mainly. And we did do some of the like St. Augustine Lighthouse and things like that. But this is, a chance for us to go and really start going to some of these big building places, these big locations that we didn't always get a chance to go to, or under different terms, I guess you'd say. So it'll be interesting to see how these go. And I know a lot of you see other channels go to these locations. You see them film, you watch the videos, and you always wonder, like, is what's going on there, and is it really everything it's hyped up to be? So hopefully you guys trust that we bring you as genuine content as we can. So I hope you guys will, when we go there, you'll see a true, genuine take on the locations. So I'm really excited. If you can't tell, I'm pumped up. Of course, Terry Lynn's in the chat already. She's like, "Hey, packing up." We've been we've been charging batteries. I mean, anytime you get ready to go do an investigation, if for those of you that are not in paranormal investigating and you just wonder, it's like, yeah, you watch it and you see us film and put it on TV for you to watch, but you don't really think about it. Like, we have to prepare the day before, sometimes a few days before. Some events are planned months in advance, weeks in advance, or even some days in advance. And then some things are last minute, especially with me. I like to do things at the last minute sometimes. Just, hey, let's go here. But this is something we've been planning, and we've been charging batteries, doing laundry, which normally we do laundry like on the weekends or something. We're like just trying to do laundry with what we got, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Just, you know, clearing that off, doing extra chores, the whole prep thing. When you get ready to go somewhere, you got to jump through some different hoops through the weekday that you normally wouldn't do until maybe the weekend or something. So we're having to do all of that tonight. And then on top of that, we ended up doing a dowsing rod session in our living room a little bit ago because, Terry Lynn, we were sitting there and she was getting the chills. She could tell there was a spirit. So we had to take a quick time out, communicate with the spirit. We found out it was like a male teenager who was just curious and wanted to talk with us for a second, but didn't really need help crossing over, didn't really have a message or anything to pass on. So we just kind of set the ground rules with them. And like I said, we had a little bit of a conversation with the dowsing rods. But other than that, we've been pretty busy today, just getting things together. Hey, Bob Fountain. And he said, hours of behind the scenes. Hours of the scene. And he's right. There's a lot of things you have to do in prep. Mainly, I mean, honestly, though, mainly it's like batteries, like charging all of your equipment, because you got to break out your equipment. You got to go through and either you have like actual like AA batteries, AAA, you kind of got to go through, make sure you have some new ones for backup. All the stuff that takes charging, you've got to start charging it up. Because you don't want to get there and have to do all that. You want to have everything ready to go. That's why a lot of times when you see investigators on TV and they're like, oh man, we had a battery drain and this and that. Usually that's because, yes, we spend all that time charging things up. So most of the time our equipment's fully charged. So when you're out there doing an investigation, then all of a sudden something dies, normally you can be like, well, I know I charged that up the night before. Now, every once in a while, hey, I admit, maybe I overlooked something. Maybe there's a bad battery starting to happen. Who knows? But usually, though, you start getting some battery drains. One indication I had, too, was, like, for example, when I did the Nickerson Sneed haunted house or haunted mansion, when we investigated that, I had a static cam that the battery kept dying on it. Like I just burned through those two batteries like quickly. And then the next night, I went home, charged them up. The next night, same thing. Boom, quick. Like both batteries didn't last long. And then when I took the same camera to the next place, it lasted longer. So again, that's how when you start to be able to look back also and say, you know what, I've got battery drain issues at this particular place because blah, blah, blah. So Titanican, hey, what's going on? Sorry I'm later. Sorry I'm late. So, hey, it's good. Hey, better late than never, right? Is that what they say? So yes, hey, Titanican, it's good to see you. So yes, I'm excited again. 2 massive back-to-back trips that we're going on. It's one trip, but 2 major locations. So I'm really, really stoked about it. And let's see. Yes. He said, right. But yes, so I'm, again, guys, what I like about going to a big location, especially, and the reason why I'm excited also to go to a big location is because, again, back when we used to do the investigations all the time, it was a different time in the world of paranormal. And especially these big locations. A lot of times, even back then, they weren't always charging, and it wasn't always, the process wasn't, fleshed out yet. Now, over the years, all these places have, they charge money and they've got a system in place, So I'm curious to kind of go through that new perspective, kind of go in it as that paying customer, going to a location to investigate and seeing what it's like at these big box locations, right? Um, I don't know. So it'll be really cool, and I'm cannot wait to film and bring that for you guys. And I'm going to try when we get back. I will try really hard to get at least the first one launched, hopefully by the end of next week, to get it back, get it edited. Just depends on what all we film, what all we kept capture. Bob said the teen spirit you encountered was just making sure you were going away. Once you were gone, it's party time at the Morris house. Yes. Yeah, right. I know. He's like, so you guys going out of town? A little teen ghost party at the house. So yeah, we had to set some rules. All right. That's another reason why we had to set some rules. But yes, most likely. But yeah, it's very exciting. I love the fact that we're getting to go do this, and we've got other stuff planned. And I think it's just really exciting to bring you guys that content because, you know, I love to get out there now in the field again, and it's fun to bring you guys the content. You know, again, I enjoyed being out in the field back in the day, but now with social media and YouTube and everything, for me, it's really fun to go out there, and it's like a new thing now. It's like it's not just me representing myself. Now I'm going out to these locations and I'm trying to represent you guys, you know, so it's really fun to be like, hey, like you're experiencing this with me. And especially like if you guys watched this last one that when I had a guest investigator with me, Al James, we did what I call the Long Crescent property. It's a great location. The folks that own it were really nice. They said, you know, hey, have fun. Just don't get hurt. And we went and investigated, and it was good. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. There is a section around like 502, 503, something like that, where there's a mist that kind of goes, I guess, like left to right. So I don't know. I saw in editing, I saw it in real life. Al was behind me, probably like 4 or 5 feet, walking behind. Like we were both leaving that little area, and then this came across me, and I guess at the time I didn't think much of it. You know, I was kind of like, okay, but I guess my mind, I sort of disregarded it because. And it's not like it's cold out or anything. I don't think it was my breath like coming out of me. It came from left to right. So, and then I saw an editing, and I was going to kind of do the whole replay thing, but then I'm like, you know, let me just let it ride and see what you guys pick up on it. So some of you guys, of course, picked up on it and pointed it out right away, and you know, it was pretty cool. So we're still actually researching it. I've got some other experts that are going to examine the raw footage and frame by frame it. So I'm excited about that to kind of see what they see. And what else? There was a loud noise that happened too, and my wife even spotted when we had that unexplained loud noise. And I do point that out in the video. If you look to the bottom right corner, something moves or whatever fell or whatever happened moved something, or maybe that was the object, whatever it is. But you can actually see a little bit of movement in the bottom right corner when that crash or object, whatever it was, whatever impacted and made that noise. So yeah, Titanic, and I think you were part of that conversation about the mist. So it's really cool. I love when you guys watch my videos and you're able to pick up on things and point things out. So I'm looking forward to that because it's a great way for you guys to do the evidence reviews with me, you know, because I like to leave, like I'll listen through and I kind of edit out boring or just the crappy parts and I do really try to listen for anything that might possibly be paranormal. And if I don't hear anything, then I'll edit it out. And then the edited version, depending on, like, if I use sound effects in the background, usually I'm pretty confident that there's not much audio going on in the background. If there's potential for EVPs, then a lot of times I won't use any kind of tension music or anything like that. So Titanic has said, love your wife. Yeah, me too. I love my wife too. But no, that's awesome. I'm glad. She's really cool. I'm trying to convince her to, whenever she films her perspective, I'm trying to convince her to have her own channel to upload her side of things instead of trying to edit it in the same screen time and in some crazy compact video. I'm trying to get her to, kind of like some other investigators do. They both film at the same location, and then they have separate videos where you can kind of see both perspectives. You can kind of hear some different narration from both perspectives as well. So I'm trying to get her. So guys, if you want to see her start her own little channel and upload her side of the videos of investigations, hey, make sure you message us, let us know. And if that's something you guys want to see, we certainly don't mind pushing for that. I'm trying to get her to do that. I really think that'd be cool. If not, we'll film. And so, oh, hey, Rich Wheeler's in here. What's shaking? So at first I'm like, what? It's funny because I saw when Rich came in and said, what's shaking? I didn't even I thought he was talking like, is something moving? Is my camera shaking? What's going on? Like, I went into this like little weird troubleshooting mode. Anyways, but hey, what's going on? So, but we're talking about video. So yeah, guys, if you want to see my wife do some video, like her perspective, kind of edit that separately, hey, we'll look at doing that. I think that would be I personally think it'd be great to see that, because obviously we still would be at these locations, we still would interact, things like that. We'll still do some live streams together when we did our Randonautica stuff together. We get along because my wife and I, we're best friends. So we have a lot of great times when we get together, and of course bicker like any other old couple, like like married couple. But in any case, yeah. So I am. But Titanic said yes. He said definitely yes. So again, I'm trying to get her to do it. I'm trying to get her to do her own channel for that content. But now, but we are going to do a few locations. So a couple big locations. Now I'm going to be going up, and I'm going to do one of the locations by myself, for sure. Because again, it's one of those places where my wife's, she's going to be kind of hanging out with our son, and this is not the kind of place that she really wants to go and kind of get wet and dirty and that kind of stuff. And so it'll be interesting. So Bob says that will work until Terlin says Josh is nuts. I didn't see anything. So Terlin, hey everyone. Sorry, I was taking care of something. Yeah, like I said, we've been really busy, guys. Just packing, charging things. I've got stuff on chargers. We got stuff on chargers all through. It's funny, even in our kitchen, we got like things plugged in. You'll be surprised how many freaking chargers and batteries and stuff that you got when you're trying to, all of a sudden, all your equipment. You're just like, man, I didn't realize I had all this stuff. And not only did you not realize how much equipment you rack up, but how much batteries and all that. So you start trying to find outlets for them. You're like, God, and surge protectors. And like, I'm surprised we haven't popped a circuit breaker yet. So, but here, let me kind of touch on this point. And I know we joke about it, but it is nice to have somebody with you sometimes. or at least two different perspectives, because there is times when, like in the last video with Al and I, when my wife watched it back with the mist, she's really excited about the mist. I'm not as excited about the mist. I don't know why. I mean, is it paranormal? Who knows? I don't know. Some people are like, hey, what is that? That's cool. And my wife's excited about it. She's like, she was analyzing it and kind of frame by frame and looking at it. And she's just like, there's some substance to it, this and that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool, but again, sometimes I'm more reserved on certain things. And then there's some things I'll be like, honey, check this out. And she'll be like, nah, no, that's nothing. Like, no, look, check this out. And I'll be like, watch, right here. She's like, no, that's nothing. So it's good to have that to both of us, and then there's times when we're both like, oh my God. So I do enjoy that part of things. I do. As far as other plans, again, we've got these big ones. I am working on a few other places. There's some other potential big things coming around the corner that I haven't talked to you guys about. I'm working on something else, and I'm not talking about my invention or / creation. I'm not teasing you guys with that right now. That's still kind of on the back burner. But I've got another big project that I'm working on. So that'll probably be maybe next week. Maybe I'll be able to give you guys some information about that. B3 Airspace, how's it going? He said, hi, just arrived and checking your site out. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Now, I will admit, look, my website, I got to spend some time and work on it. I have not probably updated in a while. I really need to get back on it. As most of you guys know that follow me, most of you, the regulars, you guys know I work a lot. I work like 3 jobs. This is like a 3rd job. And I have 2 other actual jobs. So time is, oh God, insane. So it's hard to always keep up with certain things. My wife tries, but she's really busy as well. So guys, I'm doing my best. Trust me. If we keep building this, you guys keep helping me build this channel the way it's going, I'll be able to eventually leave my jobs and do this, guys, full time for you. And then we'll have even better content, even better stuff, and do a lot more for you guys also. Because, I want to represent you all. When I go to a place, I want to represent you. I want you to live vicariously through me when you see me at these locations. That's why I've been doing a lot of first person filming for you all, so you feel like you're there and you can be there with me. A lot of times when I'm carrying the camera rig, where is it, right here, when I've got the camera rig and I'm going through filming, doing those type of things, a lot of times you guys watching, like, I feel like you're there with me. Sometimes people are like, well, what is it like when you're not with your wife or when you're just by yourself? Well, when I have the camera, it makes me feel like people's with me, like my wife's watching, like you all are watching. So believe it or not, it actually can help you out when you're just alone and it's dark and you're in a creepy location all by yourself. So, he says, website is okay. Good info for now. Yeah, I like what you say, that no one is right or no one is wrong. Open is good. Well, and absolutely. And that brings up a good point. We'll talk about that right now. I like to always be open-minded. Yes, I have my, sorry, I heard something. But yes, that I have my theories of kind of how paranormal seems to work, over the years. And I hear other people talk about it. And sometimes I'll hear some crazy theories, but I don't just disregard them. And I I don't always just label them as crazy. I do like to maintain an open environment as as much as I can. So, and when I go out into the field, I feel like there is YouTubers um, with some pretty high sub counts, and I feel like it's very suspicious to me how every time they go out, mostly almost every single time they go out, they can capture some pretty crazy things. And I've been involved in paranormal for over 25 years, and I've gone out many a times, and there's so many times that you do investigations and you capture some EVPs. Maybe you might see some dark shadows. A lot of times you don't capture them on film. Um, it's just you kind of there's like a pattern, and you get certain activities, but you don't get this big stuff. And there's certain YouTubers that seem to keep getting big things every video. You know what I mean? So that's why it's a little suspicious. For me, that's why I like to go to these locations. I like to film, and I'm trying to bring you guys like a genuine interpretation. Yeah, maybe it's a little lame. I try to make it exciting for you guys, but I don't want to fake anything to make it more exciting. I would rather you guys be a little bored at times with, and I just try to keep it tense because these locations are tense. They are tense to walk through, to be there. So I want you guys to experience that, but I also don't want anything fake. I want to really bring you guys what it truly is like to go through these locations. And so that's why when you hear certain things or you see certain things, I want you guys to have that confidence of like, hey, this stuff here is Josh really shows us these things. And then when you see some of these other channels, and then you see kind of like how they're getting these massive paranormal things all the time, these dark shadows and objects getting thrown and moved, and like every time, everywhere they go, it's like, come on. And now some of these places I'm going to go to these things. Now, there's a few, and I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. There is truth is truth, right? I'm going to go to a few of these locations that have been filmed by other paranormal channels, and there has been some things that I'm going to go and look and see. There's some things that my wife and I was like, we're going to kind of go and check out and see if this was faked or if the potential was there. There's just little things that we're going to go and look for. So that's how I am, you know. So I just thought I'd share a little bit of truth with you guys, little true speak, little true talk. So, but no, hey, you guys are so awesome. I love when you guys come on here and you all hanging out in the chat. Everybody's always been so nice in the chat. Everybody's been so supportive. I really love you guys. I really do. I this is why I do it. I go out there and I think about you guys. I think about having these chats with you in the discussion. I think about, when we go to these locations, I want to be able to come back and then have another live show and be like, dude, you guys watch that video of, these locations? Did you see that stuff? Like, oh my God. Or maybe it's like, hey, yeah, we were able to bust some people. Well, I may not call them out, but it don't matter. The point is like, I'm excited to go do these things and come back and talk to you all about them. It's awesome. So let's take a quick moment. I would quit watching if you ever screamed like a little girl and ran out of a house. Well, okay, what if I just screamed like a little girl? Here, what if I just screamed like a little girl? Now if I just stay and hold my ground, is that okay though? I see you see me. Hey, it's good to see you pop in there. Subscribe now. Gonna like this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Hey, thank you, B. Yeah. So So yeah, if you're obviously you're new to our little community here. We've been slowly growing. We've got regulars. Bob Fountain here is a writer for the Paranormal Underground magazine. I See You See Me's been there since day one with my shows. Titanican's been, off and on coming in lately, becoming a regular. We've got some other people that pop in on kind of a regular basis. So it's good to see you join our community. We really do appreciate your support and your continued support. So thank you, Beat 3 Airspace. So speaking of which, okay, and I'll take that compliment of need more channels like this. Thank you so much. So in fact, here we go. Let's put this up there. There you go. Look at that. Need more channels like this. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, since we brought it up, since we're talking to Beat there, and we're talking about Bob Fountain, that brings me up to my next point, which is, guys, see the email right here? See that? Okay, paranormalunderground@live.com. If you email them and say, hey, Josh Morris from the Everything Paranormal Show sent me your way, I would like to get your magazine, please. Guess what? You will get Paranormal Underground magazine. You will get the digital edition free for a year, guys. All right. Paranormal Underground magazine free for a year. All right. So if you're not familiar with Paranormal Underground magazine, I'm telling you, go to email this right here, paranormalunderground@live.com. Tell them I sent you. You will start getting the digital copy of Paranormal Underground magazine. And you know what's really cool is this magazine, it's a legit magazine. It is not just some newsletter. It's not just 2 or 3 little pages of whatever. It is full high-def photos, multiple articles. It is a full-on paranormal magazine. So you're going to love it. I'm telling you. The first time, Bob Fountain's the man that introduced me to it, and the first article I got, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So I'm telling you, you're going to love it. All right, guys. So you got the email wrote down? paranormalunderground@live.com. All right. So, hey, Bob, are Pleiadians real? I will. So, yes, Titanic, and yeah, you didn't really know about the magazine either. I'm not sure if you were there when I've talked about it before. I talk about it a lot here lately. They sponsor the show, and it's a great group of people. It really is. We know the owner. She lives in our neck of the woods, so to speak. But okay. Let me look here. I'm just looking over some notes. Don't mind me. We're live. It's okay. I'm not going to stress about it. All right, Kay, get this out of the way. I'm 65 plus, been in this field for 50 plus years. Yes, and know it. Okay. Paranormal Underground mag. Well, that's good. All right, awesome. I'm really glad you know that. And like I said, hopefully you like the magazine as much as I do. But so I have to get my sponsor stuff out of the way because, and you know what, and I don't really actually get paid for this either. It's just we really help each other out. They like to advertise my show, and I advertise their magazine just because we like each other on that professional basis. They really are a good magazine. So I'm not even really getting anything monetarily out of this, really. So I just like it that much. But so we're talking about where we're at. Kansas. So we got Kansas, we got Oregon coast. I stay in the background. Yeah. And we're over in the Bristol, Tennessee, like Virginia border town area. So Northeast Tennessee, if you will. Um, Stay safe out there in Oregon. The world is crazy right now. Yes, the world is crazy. So the world is just crazy. So that's why it's nice to go and hang out with the dead sometimes. I mean, when the living is worse, like when hanging out with the living is worse than hanging out with the dead, man, there's a problem, isn't there? So, but guess what I'm doing? I'm taking a vacation from the living, and I'm gonna go see the dead at two major locations this weekend. I cannot wait. So, are we haunted areas? Yes. Are we now? Yeah, these areas are definitely one of the areas is has a it's cursed land, I believe, from the Indians. Not sure which tribe. I'll have more info. I try not to, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My wife and I both take a similar approach to most investigations. Like if we watch a video on a location and they show the history of it, they talk about it, like that's kind of all we really learn. But we don't try to memorize a whole lot of stuff. We try to go into most places without doing a ton of research, just to try to really keep an open mind. Um, we like to go to those locations. Now, when we go there, um, what else? Hey, Utter, welcome, Utterly. Oh, Utterly Insane Productions. Hello from Wisconsin. Well, hello, Utterly Insane Productions. I didn't even see you snuck in there on me. I didn't even see that. So from Wisconsin, that's right. Love the cheese there. No, seriously, like I used to have this one place, this Wisconsin cheese place. I'm from Michigan, and oh, they do cheese. They really do. They do it right. Um, but yeah, so when we're out with these locations, guys, we're gonna I'll try to do some lives. Okay, so pay attention. I would say like tomorrow. I don't know when exactly, but tomorrow evening and probably um, Saturday evening. Pay attention to, and I'll come on here and I'll try to give you guys some live feed from the locations, and we'll just talk. We'll talk while we're there. Maybe I'll even do something live. Lately, if you guys, for those of you that's been watching some of my live field locations lately, do you like when I do like a live dowsing rod session? Do you guys like that? I know that you guys really been responding to when I do the dowsing rods. I see you see me. My hands are like spirits. Got to take. Well, I don't know what the agenda is. Indeed, on our Facebook page. But don't you like to know what spots may be more active? Okay, so yes and no. Let me tell you a small story about active spots, right? So one of our investigations, my wife and I showed up, and the owners were so excited because back then we were representing a television show. So they viewed us like we were taps, because we were doing the preliminary case for taps for ghost hunters. So they show up, they're excited to see us and everything, and they're like, "Hey, before you guys even start, all right, before you guys even start," they're like, "Okay, we made two maps," and they literally had like, oh, that's weird. That's weird that this is not even green. It's yellow. Huh. Anyways, well, so much for that. Anyways, they had a legal pad, right? And they had hand drawn out a map of their antique mall. Okay. And so it had all the little booths, and everything. And they're like, okay, we made two maps. And we got the one map, and they already had it all folded up. You could see the lines through it and everything, but they had it all folded up. They're like, it's right here. And they just set it like under, and then they're like, and here's the other map. And they handed us the pad. And they're like, you guys just go around and you mark whatever locations you feel are haunted. So, and now the funny thing is that we never said that we were sensitive. We never said that we were psychic mediums or anything, because we're not. Now, my wife's sensitive, and at the time, I was even more in tune with my sensitivity. Now I'm getting more in tune again. But we didn't say anything to them. This was just them. They already concocted this plan, the owners, the clients. So they hand us this map. So we both start walking. We start doing our little tour. We start, my wife and I were walking around this antique mall, and we're slowly cruising through, and we were talking, and my wife, we would stop, and and we tried not to gesture a whole lot, because we knew they were just like staring at us, right? They were like just, and so we'd stop, and then we'd talk a little, and then we'd like move over to another spot, talk, but a couple places along the way, Terry Lynn would be like, yeah, Josh, I'm feeling something here. I'm like, I know, me too. And I would like concur, and then so we, kind of mark on the map. And when it was done, there was 3 spots that we marked. And so we went back, and they were like, okay, they're like, we don't want to know what you guys marked yet. And then they got the other one out, they unfolded it and everything. And guess what? They were identically marked, guys. They marked the 3 hotspot locations that they had trouble with, and we had ended up going through and feeling out and finding the exact same 3 spots. So going back to what Titanic said about, do you want to know what areas are haunted? Sometimes it's best not to. You know what I mean? Because it gives you a chance to not only validate. So if you go to a location and you're not really, you don't want to, I guess what I want to say is, you don't want to sometimes get blinders on. You don't want to put those blinders on and just focus on like, hey, this is the hot spot that everybody talks about. Hey, this is the hot spot. But then meanwhile, there's other places in that location that may actually have spirits, or may have other issues, or whatever. So it's to us, we like to go in with that open mind and explore locations, and feel them out, film them, and take and investigate, and let the spirits guide us where we need to go during the investigations. And it's really worked for us. I mean, yes, sometimes you'll go to places and they'll tell you like, hey, this is here, this is here, and it happens. But we try not to always do that, just because it just makes it fun. It really makes it fun to always sometimes not even know. And then to go back, and even like with the Nickerson Sneed, when Terry Lynn and I, when we investigated the Nickerson Sneed, that is SRS Paranormal. That's their home haunt. So we didn't want to know. We didn't really want to know. And then when I try to tell my wife the history of the place, she's like, nah, I don't really want to know. I don't care, whatever. She's like, let's just go. And it was nice because we did the investigation. And then when we went back to SRS, we were like, hey, this is what we experienced. And they're like, yes, we've had similar experiences in these locations. It's been documented. So again, that is an extra layer of validation. You see? So I'm glad you brought that up about not wanting to know, because that is an interesting subject to talk about. But again, I would say there's no right or wrong. You could be one of those people that maybe you want to know everything you can before going to a place, or like us, we try not to learn too much about a place, and we can go there spiritually, experience it through the paranormal, and then kind of go and say, hey, I found out that there was a major death that occurred in this spot where we had this major experience. Now that explains it. So it helps to validate those things in that sense, if that makes sense. Because again, psychologically, if you know about something ahead of time, who's to say that your PKE is not manifesting something? Because your own psyche, right? Maybe you're the one manifesting something or imagining something because you already know that the hype is built up for that certain spot or that certain room in a location or something. So just some interesting things to think about if you guys are out doing investigations. B said, yep, feel it for yourself. He agrees. Yeah. And again, I completely agree. I'm agreeing with you agreeing about my point. I have such respect for Terry Lynn. I didn't know that about you. What about? Oh, her sensitivity. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us, in my opinion, a lot of people, or maybe even all of us, can potentially have abilities. But what's really cool is like somebody like Terry Lynn, who she has a different sensitivity and she maybe didn't always know how to develop it, but some people are more in tune with that. And then sometimes you can work on developing yours. I mean, she works on developing hers to a point. I again kind of ignored mine a little bit. Now I've been trying to tune it back up, and the more I go out in the field, kind of naturally starts tuning into things. And then some people really push it, and some people are open to having that psychic connection, whether it's or clairvoyancy, different types of clairvoyancy. So, but it's really cool. I do agree, and that's a good thing that makes Terry Lynn and I such a good team when we're out there is she's able to have that sensitivity. I'm able to have enough sensitivity to kind of maybe back her up on it. And sometimes, she's given me some really good advice at times. Sometimes she'll be like, hey, try here, or hey, stay away from this location, or, so that's the good pros and cons to it. So yeah, when we're out there, we'll try to do some lives like I told you guys. We're going to do some dowsing rod sessions for sure. It has been something I've enjoyed doing for you all. It's been pretty. I'm just not a big fan of spirit boxes lately, to be honest with you. ITC communication's okay, but for me, it's so impressive to hold those dowsing rods and to see them answer. And especially when I'm holding, see, because you guys watching, you'll always be skeptical until you do something, right? When you do it, you're like, hey, I'm doing it. Nobody can tell me I'm not, you're not faking it, right? So for me, when I hold those dowsing rods, it's like I know I'm holding them. I know that I'm not crossing them because, again, the sleeves, and it's just too difficult anyways. But it's like I know. So for me, it's so impressive to see those dowsing rods. Who else? Did somebody pop in? Rachel, right? Rachel Electro. Hey, how's it going? Those live dowsing rods are awesome. So yes, and that's what we're just starting to talk about. And if you guys like that, again, I still want to bring you that. I personally think is better than watching people do spirit box sessions, in my opinion, because again, man, I watched a video recently, and it's not any offense to the individual because it's not their fault, but they explained the S box. I don't have the S box on me because it's upstairs. We're packing for the trip. But the S box, for those of you that don't know, the S box, I believe it's a product from Ghost Stop itself, and it was designed to sort of be a good tool for a paranormal investigator. It was kind of designed specifically, for the investigators, by investigators. The problem with the S box, and this is what I don't like about it, is that there is I forget what the feature is called exactly, but it's almost like a slight delay. It's like if there's a spike in communication, then it actually kind of hangs on that frequency for just a touch longer and then continues the sweep. Because you have that, and when you hit that spike and there's something, it's like, So when you hit that spike, a lot of times it might be a DJ talking. So in theory, the way that the spirit boxes works is because you have that frequency, that sweep rate, you can make it faster, slower. And so in theory, if you like in 1 second time, if you're like, and you have like 8 different frequencies, but you have one word that's formulated over those 8 different frequencies, that's what they say makes that ITC work, right? That spirit box. So what I don't like about the S box is that it hangs when it hits that spike. So to me, you actually are hearing like a DJ's voice or word or a phrase in a song, something, because it just hangs every time that happens. I use it, I used it last live. I'll even probably try to do it again, because again, I still want to give it a fair chance, because I've only used it like 4 times or so. But I'm just talking about theory, right? I'm talking about so Tata Lago, hey Tata. So, and I'll get to that. I'll get some questions here in a second. I just want to finish up my thought on the ITC. Anyways, so I was watching a video, and the individual explained how that it does the sweep, and that it's not the DJ, or it's not radio communication because of the sweep. Problem with that is when they turned on the S box, literally you heard like somebody say 101.1, and you heard some actual phrases from the radio a few times during the sweep. That's the problem with explaining the S box in that fashion, and then almost have it call you a liar right as soon as you turn it on. So that's why I'm not a big fan of the S box. But that's why I love doing the dowsing rods here lately, because they are so impressive to have a spirit move those rods and communicate in the way they do. And it's visually nice for you guys, because a lot of people will tell you the more you use rods, the less you need them. And you can communicate, and you can actually feel the responses from the spirit. But with you guys, you want to see the response. When you're watching the video, you want to see physically the response from that ghost. Okay, so let me see if I'm missing anything. Sorry, guys, I got talking, But yeah, Terrelyn said that she had the Indian Brave as a protector. He didn't know he passed away. Of course, she said that she was playing with her 2 kitties. Rachel Electro said she was playing with her 2 kitties while I watch. That's scary. Those dowsing rods are awesome. Kitties are always good. Thank you, ITA. Spirit box is hard to understand live. Yeah, and that's true too. And I suck at, honestly, even when I go back and like do the edited, like when I go in and I go into the editor and I start listening, I'm like, I suck at that part when it comes to trying to listen to what the spirit boxes are actually saying. Now, if somebody translates it for me, sure, because I know that there's that whole audio perception where when you know what it's saying, it formulates better. I get that, but I usually need help with it. But Tata said, when you investigate a site, do you go in cold or do you invoke spirits? Um, well, I would say that in earlier we just talked about cold wise. I would I know what you're saying, but I would say cold wise, educational wise, we don't like to go in knowing too much. Like we were just talking about that a little bit ago. We do like to kind of go in and not have a lot of knowledge of the place, just because it's not a strict rule, but we just really try not to learn a whole lot about the place. As far as invoking the spirits goes, um, I don't. Um, I don't like to provoke. I don't like to provoke. We do ask if there's spirits that would like to communicate. We we tend to always stay on the respectful side. Um, I can't think of a situation so far that I've tried to be stern with a spirit. To be honest with you, try to like rally them up, and again that provoking stage. I'm just not big on provoking. I'm really not, because you can definitely rattle some cages out there, and you don't know what you're doing by provoking. And especially like that karma, right? I'm a big believer in karma, so I don't like to rattle too much because I don't know what the end result's going to be on my end. So we try to go into the investigation. We try to be open. We try not to learn a whole lot about the place, so that way again the spirits can kind of guide us, or we can feel out the areas. And again, and if I'm with Terry Lynn, she's my sensitivity needle. She kind of ultimately ends up guiding us to certain spots, usually, even if she doesn't mean to. A lot of times she'll be led there, or she just naturally will have that intuition to go toward a certain place or something. If it's me just by myself, again, sometimes I'll feel it out, or I just methodically go through room by room, and then I will pretty much usually find where the activity is occurring, and talk to people. But yes, respect is definitely a big thing for us. Again, and I just feel like it's because I don't know. I don't know what we're talking to on the other side. I They seem to be dead people, yes, but what if it's more than that? I want to leave that possibility. What if it's something interdimensionally, or some other life form, right? We don't know, like 100%. We don't know. So I want to be respectful, period. And I usually thank them for communication. Again, I lean more toward like they are deceased people and things like that, just because of the conversations and things. When we actually communicate with them, it does seem to revolve around perishing, natural death, accidental death, those type of things. Um, so, you know, again, we're very much about the respect. I just don't like to provoke those things. I really don't like to prod the bear, so to speak. Um, I think that's weak. I think that's weak. If you really got to get in there, and if you have to kind of poke the bear, I mean, careful what you get. Okay. And I know why a lot of people do it. A lot of people are doing it because they selfishly want something to happen. It's something in a way that they want to capture it. But I've had decent results with just being respectful and communicating. Um, what else here? Liking you more and more. Well, thank you. Thank you. That deserves up here. There you go. See, that deserves up here. And then we got to get Robert. I remember your raccoons were having a scrap a few ago. Yes, Robert's famous raccoons. They were having their little tiff last time. Bob says, rule of thumb, don't pick sides. Yeah, especially with raccoons, you know. So I think Megan typing hard. Um with the paranormal world, guys, obviously like B, you're new to the community. You haven't watched, but if you go back and you binge watch my stuff, you'll notice a theme. One of the if if I was in government, right, which let's not go there, but I'm just saying if I was in government, we have platforms, right? We have certain particular issues that we stand for and that we don't tend to change our position on. And one of my platforms is quality of investigations. Now, let me just say this, like, you don't have to, there's no textbook, right? There's no, what I'm saying is you don't have to go to a location and do this, and this, and this, and everything has to be completely perfect and all has to be validating. And, I'm not talking about that, because if you watch some of my field stuff, I do some simplistic investigations at times. It's not a big deal. Those are for fun. We're going out, we're seeing what we can find, we're filming it. I'm filming it in first person so you guys can join me. There's some entertainment value in paranormal, and that's fine. I'm not trying to be uh, I'm not trying to ride any kind of high horse or anything. What I'm saying is quality of investigation, integrity, right? Have some integrity. Some of these investigations, again, some of these channels with tons of subs, there's a reason for that, because they're shock value, right? They capture some incredible, amazing things somehow. But I'm looking at the integrity of the field of paranormal, the research paranormal. We have not moved that needle. We have not learned or really gained anything substantial in several years, or even some decades. We have not significantly learned anything. We have pretty much seen the same thing kind of churned over and over and over. So we haven't been able to make a lot of progress because, again, there's not a universal system in place. There's not data sharing. You get one team that they're professional. They take notes. They document everything. Probably Bob Fountain's team is a good example, or SRS Paranormal. A couple great teams, Virginia Paranormal. They are some great teams that are thorough in their investigations. But again, there's no way to take their data and their data and their data and all these other people and get some mass numbers to start learning some things, right? We have to be able to push the boundaries of learning, and we have to push that. There's ways that we have to do that. So Al James, he said, "What's up, Josh?" So what's going on, Al? So Al joined us again. Al was with me in that investigation that we just posted on YouTube recently. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, share it, like it. Hopefully you like it. but yeah, guys. And Al is part of the team. We're all going to be going to those big locations that I have not revealed the names of, but we're all going there, and I'm going to be, I don't know what all we're going to be doing. I don't know if we're going to be able to do any collabing up there. I'm not sure, because they have a schedule. They have things that SRS has got to do, and we have to film for our channel. But we're all going together. We're all going to be in that area, and who knows, we're going to have some fun. I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to go. Let's see. Fascinating. Robert said, I antagonized the spirit once. We had a disbelieving priest with us. I told the spirit didn't have a hair on its butt unless it slapped the priest. The priest left. But did the priest leave because he thought you weren't being serious, or did he actually get slapped? So that's the question. So I'm always ready to show my data. Well, and and like I was saying, Bob, it's not always just a matter of one team sharing their data. It's we have to have a massive amount in the field, in the industry. It's much like numbers with anything, right? With the police departments, the fire departments, the national data centers, right? We can go in, there's stats, right? If you want to know how many people died in traffic accidents in a certain year, you can usually go and find that report. Well, there's no major stats. See, like if you have one or two teams, or let's just say this, if you just had one or two stats that said, hey, these two places, they recorded that 5 people died in traffic accidents, and they were all in the state of Tennessee. It's like, okay, we know that that's not probably a good data number. It's like 5 people, and it was only recorded among 3 different inputs. So that's why I'm saying we have to be able to collect data on a massive scale in the world of paranormal, which right now is impossible. So that's why we're not making any grounds. There's no data. There's nothing to say X is Y and Z, right? So all of these things we're working on, and we're doing it through Paranormal Unity. For the longest time, ego is a big thing. Egos in the business is a big thing. There's several like if you get and especially if they're social media, if you get a paranormal investigator and they've got thousands of viewers or even millions of subscribers, right? Usually there's an ego, and they don't share, they don't do a whole lot of research. And a lot of those are typically entertainers anyways. But there's also, not even so much even in the social media world, but there's still enough egos out there that there's just no universal way for people to get along enough to collect the data we need in the world of paranormal. So I hope that makes sense. I know we talked about that a lot. I hope it didn't bore you guys too much on that, but that's the truth when it comes to the world of paranormal. So with Paranormal Unity, we're always trying to get people together that like SRS Paranormal. I'm not on their team. They're not on my team, but we're good friends. We're good family. Bob Fountain with Spectral Tech, Bob's a great friend of mine now, and we get along. We can communicate. We can talk about things, and then SRS, they have some of their folks, Paranormal Brew and In the Line Paranormal, and some people like that, really good people that they also work with, and they bring us together and we work with them. So we all try to join forces, but we have to do it on a much bigger scale if we're ever to start moving the paranormal needle on research. Okay. Fix what? Well, and he was talking about fix the broken fact that we just can't share data and we can't share all the stuff. We can't do the stuff that we want to do for research to move the needle. And that's the problem. So again, what you have right now in the industry is you've got teams going out, they're investigating, and we're coming up with new equipment all the time. It's not a matter of collecting. We can use almost anything to collect paranormal. You just use a pair of dowsing rods and you can communicate with spirits. You can use pendulums. You can use spirit boards. You can use EVP recorders. You can still capture that. You can, we can capture all types of potential proof. But again, we have to be able to put it all together. Okay. So that's all we're talking about in the big picture of things. And I'm a big proponent of that. This is what I'm talking about, is my platform of what I believe in, which is, again, be good investigators, do the best you can. Just don't be don't fake it. If you're going to go out there, and let me just put it this way, like, because, again, guys, I'm also part entertainment, and I admit that. But what I don't do to you guys is I don't go out in the field and I don't fake something to be entertaining. If I go out in the field, if I go to an abandoned house or I go to an abandoned factory, whatever it is, I'm going to film it and it's going to be genuine and I'm going to bring it to you guys. That's the part of the entertainment I'm talking about. The other people that are out faking it and making things, these crazy dark shadows or whatever, when they're doing some of this big stuff, I mean, yeah, is it shocking? Is it shock value? Is it entertaining? I get it, but unfortunately, it just hurts the industry. So I don't know, but I don't want to I don't want to stay on this soapbox. We were just talking about a little bit of this, a little bit of that with investigations. So industry or TV shows is entertainment. That is the ego. The real stuff is underground or quiet, like me and others. Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. And again, I'm not knocking entertainment. Again, some of what I do is for the purposes of entertaining you guys, but I want to do it genuinely, versus trying to come up with the next shocking thing by faking something. I hate that. I hate that because it just ruins the industry. So Rich says the sensationalism kills me on these big shows. It depends on the shows, but like I get it. It's a cable show. They have to be entertaining. And even if they don't, and I'll admit, when they have some shows and they don't really capture anything, and they'll do that for you every once in a while. They'll be like, we're not going to show a whole lot. And they make it suspenseful because they time it with the commercials, and like all of a sudden, like something happens, and and then it comes back from commercial, and it's just like somebody tripped and fell. Like, and you're like, oh, and then they laugh, and then you're like, oh, whew, I thought it was going to be something exciting. So, but it raised your blood pressure, right? So yeah, so this shows. I mean, it's show is. If you want to experience, if you're at home, okay, and you can't go out to the field. See, that's the thing. Some people, they want to experience paranormal, but they can't get out in the field. They don't maybe even have the money sometimes to buy recorders and buy cameras, and even though you can use your cell phone, things like that, but some people just don't want to. They'd rather just watch it. But if you want to watch, like, I would say real paranormal activity, try to stick to, like some of the different channels on YouTube. So why, with all the data that has been gathered over the years, have we not seen anything that turns skeptics into believers? I know it's a tough question. What's your opinion? Okay, so actually, Dixie Ray, and hi, Dixie. That's the first time I saw your name, so hi today. Okay, so it's a good question, but at the same time, you have to remember it's capturing data spread out through time. It's just like I said, if you had one team that sat there and, okay, let's say they had one team monitoring a highway, and it's like, and over the course of a month, and they saw like 2 accidents, and they're like, well, there's 2 vehicle accidents in the state of Tennessee. It's like, okay, is it truly accurate? Is it accurate for that entire highway? For that one section that they could visually see, maybe, but again, if you have input from all over the state, for example, let's say you had everybody watching the highway and everybody was reporting on that, and they could say, hey, there is literally a total of 300 accidents that happen on this stretch of highway every year in the state of Tennessee, that would probably be more accurate data. Once you start getting accurate data spread out, then you'll be able to start seeing those graphs, right? You can actually see the data. Right now, there's just not enough. People are gathering evidence. We're huge on gathering evidence. Huge. Think about it. Everybody's gathering evidence. We got EVPs, but there's never enough skeptics for the believers. And actually, my wife and I were talking about this recently because, you can have 500 videos of a real paranormal ghost, like an actual spirit, like say paranormal ghost, like it's the same, but an actual ghost. You can have 500 videos. But if you have 5 videos, let's say on the internet that were fake or obviously fake, then now they're all fake. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I think it's the other way around. I think on average, we probably see like 500 fake things, and then there's probably 5 real things. You see what I'm saying? So we've probably watched real ghosts caught on film. Problem is, the internet is so vast and social media is so much now that we've seen so many other videos of fake stuff. We're like, oh my God, that's so fake. Or we're like, I don't know. And then you find out later that it was fake. So now when you see a genuine video, you really don't know if it really is genuine or not. So I hope that answers your question. Says, not a good example, Josh, since we will be driving on said highways for the road trip tomorrow. Okay, so that was a bad example on highway accidents. Sorry. So we can also look at how many vehicles safely make it to their destination, right? So we had X amount of vehicles safe. Okay, so you know. So I hope, though, that really does answer your question, Dixie, on honestly, it's not so much that we've been gathering data over the years. We've been gathering evidence all the time. So much evidence, but again, not enough evidence for the skeptics. So technically, you could like go to, say, Bob's website, spectraltech.org or something. Like, say you went to Bob Fountain's website. They've got EVPs on there and things like that. So let's say you're kind of on the fence. You go to his website, you listen to his stuff. If you're a believer, you're going to say, man, that's awesome. I am now more of a believer. His data, his evidence is enough for me. But again, unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that for a lot of people. What I'm talking about is actual data, information, recorded information, multiple tracking points, but they have to be universal. Okay, it has to be universal so we can compare data. The only way you can compare data is when it's universal, right? If so and so is like, well, I've been tracking red, purple, and black, and somebody said, well, I'm tracking green, yellow, and blue. See, the data is different. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's what we're looking at. That's the things we have to try to change. These are all things that we're working on. And once we can do that in the industry, then we can start showing with the data points. You'd be able to prove things. You'd be able to prove certain things. It's not necessarily proof with visual, but proof with data. We've already seen a lot of visual. We've seen a lot of visual. Now let's see some numbers. Let's see some actual data that even the scientists are like, well, yay, we got some actual data now. All right, so let me try to catch up here. A little bit of the notes that y'all have been leaving. So yeah, Dixie had a big question for me. All right, not many people do want to believe, even if there's some kind of proof. Not a good example, right? Okay. Pete, that's so true. Even happens in the proper academic realm all the time. Oh Lord, yes, DC. Denying that Neanderthals buried their dead comes to mind despite clear evidence. CGI is so easy too. Yeah, I mean, and nowadays with the effects, and what happens is that with the effects being so good, there's a lot of these people that will do the effects and then they'll copy, they'll make copies to where it's not the original. There's no data. There's no raw data. So when experts go to look at it, they don't always have enough information because they're not looking at the original, and the original gets lost or mysteriously is gone or something, and so a lot of times there's these copies and things, which of course sort of buries some of the CGI and things like that. So proof often makes somebody, I just lost myself. Proof often makes somebody that has changed their worldview. And a lot of people don't want to change. And that's another good point. Some people, they just don't want to accept the evidence. They see it and they're like, man, if I believe in this, that means I might have to believe in God, or I might have to, whatever, I might have to change my opinion on God, or whatever it is. So, Tata says a real skeptic won't believe it until you prove it. A cynic won't believe it no matter what. Yeah, and again, I just always say there's never enough evidence for the skeptic. Yeah, I could say cynic as well, but I just say there's never enough evidence for the skeptic. I think it's the degree of skepticism. I have a hint of skepticism on everything, but that's the investigator in me. But I believe. Now, there's some people that they just will always be a little too skeptical. And maybe that you could probably call them cynical at that. Okay, so Dixie Rick says, it didn't answer my question. As a matter of fact, it was a great answer. I thought I might stump you. So you said it didn't answer my question. It was a great answer. So I thought I answered it, because you said why, with all the data has been gathered over years, we've not seen anything that turns skeptics into believers. Well, okay, and I'll even add a little more to that by just saying that there probably has been skeptics that's been turned into believers. We have captured some things. I mean, and I think, like, for me, and this is just my personal thing, I was always on the fence, and and even though I had experiences up all the way up, and like it's even in my book, when I got to a certain point, though, it wasn't really until I did my own EVP in my own home. When my wife and I, when we did our very first EVP session, and we captured that spirit, or the two spirits, that changed me. It clicked me over. So I guess it depends on, again, what you mean by data. So actually, it did answer my question. I thought it was a very good analogy. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, I again, and trust me, I'm very, very much about, I want to move the needle in terms of paranormal research. We've stuck, if not went backwards. Even Daryl Marston from Ghost Hunters said that he thinks we went backwards a little bit when it comes to where we're at paranormal research wise. He thinks we actually kind of reverted a little bit because of all the BS. So for me, I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. I think we went backwards a little bit. I want to move us forward. So we're working on it, and we'll get more into that in the future for sure. Trust me. And a lot of it has to do with the creation I created, the invention I made. It's something that I'm working on. It's done. I can't release it for a while, but it's done and it works, and it's something that's going to change the industry, and it will move the needle, folks. That's all. I don't want to get too much into it, because again, I can't really talk a lot about it. Anyways, all right. So she retracted that. She said it did answer a question. I know, but I just wanted to answer that. I think that was. I just wanted to add that last little bit too. I offered the original data along with data points where activity was reserved. I do that with every articles I write. And like I said, I think there is paranormal teams out there that are doing their part, like Bob's team, like SRS Paranormal, like even Virginia Paranormal. There's teams out there that I personally know of that are great investigators. They're very thorough. They document things. And that's great. But again, we have to have a large amount of, we really need, there's a lot to it. And we're going to wrangle it in, folks. We're going to wrangle it in, trust me. B says, my opinion alone, I find there are ostrich folks, peacocks, and I like Kiss Method. I like the band too. So the keep it simple, stupid method, is that what you're referring to? But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying like everybody, like every time I go do an investigation, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to go solve the paranormal mystery. to be honest with you, I'm not. I think there's times and there's a time and place for that. I think when people ask you to go to their house, they're concerned, they're in need, they need help. It's you have to be thorough. For residential investigations where people need help, you want to be thorough. Okay. Some people start the process of needing help and then, sometimes they fizzle out a little bit. They get a little nervous, whatever. But I'm just saying, if you're going to go to an investigation sometimes, if it's to help somebody and you have to solve a mystery, yes, you want to be thorough. You want to validate things. If you're going to go to an abandoned or creepy location and you want to have fun, you want to film, like a lot of what I've been doing lately, it's okay. You don't have to go out, and it doesn't have to be a science experiment every single time that you go and do paranormal. And if you do, if that's what you like to do, if you want it to be that way, by all means, you can still go do that. What I'm just talking about is for those people that are doing the scientific type experiments and those type of things, we need to be able to bring everything together. We have to start moving that research point. And we'll cover more of that again. Once I get my creation together and we go and we launch it, you guys will understand. It'll make sense. We'll be able to have a lot more discussions in depth. We'll be able to cover some insane stuff in the future. We'll be able to talk about some things we've never been able to talk about and have some actual proof. Love it. Can't wait. So I know I'm teasing you guys with this, but let's see, man, you guys are awesome tonight. You guys are so chatty. I love it. God, we have been talking for an hour and a half, folks. Holy moly. You guys are an amazing audience tonight. I'm trying to keep up with all you guys. Holy crap. Terry Lynn said, oh, yeah, she retracted. I offered the original data. Let's see, my opinion alone. Oh, man, I forgot. I actually have an EVP. Got it on my second ever T. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I actually have an EVP. Let me just put it up here. Hold on, what was it? Rachel Electro. Oh, man, I forgot. I actually have an EVP. Got it on my second ever attempt. It's really strange breathing and a faint no, as far as I can tell. And see, that's what I'm talking about. When you capture something yourself, and you know for a fact, because watching it on TV, you don't know. You don't know the conditions. You don't know if they're trying to fake it. You really don't. You guys maybe take my word for it, but you don't really know. Nobody really knows unless you're there. So that's why I say, if you really want to know, do an EVP session. Do some things yourself. If you really want to capture that evidence. Now, some of you on here already do those things. So let's see. 2 of our team members were skeptic after investigation for claims they were impressed enough to join. So I want to talk about this. But let me look at the comments here. There are many groups, good teams working hard, and they don't have egos. That's true. Again, that's where that paranormal unity is. We always look for teams that are working together, that don't have egos. Oh, and another guy I wanted to throw a shout out to. Another guy I really wanted to shout out to was, oh my God, is it William? Why am I just all of a sudden blanking out? Anyways, from Memphis Ghosts, guys. Memphis Ghosts. Spirit and Rescue, man. If you go back and watch a few shows ago, great guy, paranormal unity all the way. Doesn't seem to have an ego. Again, super easy to work with. Great guy. So you come across these people in the industry, and you always want to continue working with them. Again, building up that foundation, and that's what we need to do. Even like be, in people that's involved in paranormal over many years, when they don't have egos or they're easy to work with, that's when you want to stay together. And so that's what we do. Yes, Joe, it can't be solved. It did answer my question, daring that it was a misprint. That's okay. We solved it. I just wanted to make sure I was trying to answer your question. So exactly, Josh. Let's see. It said the message retracted. I don't know why you got it. Oh, I just love connecting with history through people who lived it, spirits. Yeah, and that is something. There is something to that for sure. Everybody, please like and share. Put this out here. So Terry Lynn, which is my wife, for those of you, if you're not for sure, if you're new, Terry Lynn is my wife, aka Astral Shadow Vixen. She's the one that you see in a few of the videos, and I'm trying to get her to have her own channel so she can upload her side of our investigations to like a little channel so you guys can kind of see and hear her commentary on things. I think that would be cool. I think so. If you guys want that, let her know. Yeah, good stuff. Makes time relevant. Josh, soon you will need to change the name to the show Josh All Night. Well, that'll be the segment. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is Josh All Night, where you can watch me from sundown to sunrise. Oh, see how we just goofy. We just goofy. Bob's like, so is that your way of telling me we need to start wrapping things up? We've been having a lot of paranormal discussion tonight. I mean, seriously, a lot of paranormal discussion. And I love it. I love it. You guys have been very engaging tonight. You've had some great questions. We've really delved into some paranormal theory. We've talked about, well, maybe not even so much the theory itself, but just investigative practices and those type of things. I think you guys always going to get good evidence. Spirits will be drawn to you and the people you choose to work with, in my opinion. Well, and I agree. And again, you just never know. But yeah, I mean, if you are a bad person, a negative person, things like that, I don't think obviously spirits are going to want to work with you too much. Yes, people can provoke, they can anger spirits. I don't like that. I don't like that. You don't know what you're messing with. You don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, you don't know. See, like you mess with somebody in the real life. I mean, yeah, there's some consequences. Every once in a while, yeah, you could get somebody psychotic and that won't go away, but it's few and far between, right? In the spirit world, you don't know what you're messing with. And believe me, I'm pretty sure they may have plenty of time on their hands. They don't have the restrictions maybe that we have with time and getting tired and things like that. So they can haunt your ass, right? They can haunt your ass for a long time. So don't poke and prod and all that crap. You don't need to do it. Trust me, if you know, and now I do. Okay, let me just say one thing though. When it comes to provocation, I know that there has been some instances where there's been some not so nice ghosts that were mean to people, kind of like bullies. And sometimes investigators have gone in, was like, hey, you know, you're picking on so and so, why don't you pick on me? I get that, I guess. Again, I don't think I've really been in that situation where I've had to honestly go and do that. So for me, again, provocation, not a big fan of, but I get it, I guess, in those situations if you're dealing with kind of a bully ghost and maybe you do need to kind of coax it out of hiding by provoking a little bit because it is a negative type of entity and you're trying to get it out of hiding so you can locate it and deal with it. So I do understand those few exceptions. So that's just my opinion. Love you knowing the history after the Randonautica event. Oh yeah. That was cool because Rachel Electra, when we did the Randonautica stuff, Rachel Electra was able to provide us with some good info, and that's the other thing about, you know, having you guys as a community, you know, is, you know, working together, like knowing some of the things, knowing some of the history stuff, the local history stuff. we've lived in this area for about 7 years only, but there's some people that's been here. They know a lot more history of the place. So that's always, always an awesome thing. Robert said a pissed off spirit would be far worse than an ET anal probe. Would it? I'm sure. I don't know. It depends if you like anal probes. I don't know. There's might be some people that would enjoy that more. That's all I'm saying. But it took you guys some supremely haunted areas. Yeah, got to take her with us once. I don't know. There's something I'm working. Okay, look, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. One of the things I'm working on, and I haven't even talked to Terry Lynn a whole lot about this because it's just something I've been working on. But I'm trying to secure a location for the Bristol area, and what I mean by that is a paranormal attraction. Okay, guys, I'm trying to secure a paranormal attraction for this area. In other words, a creepy abandoned place that people can, just like Brushy Mountain Prison or Waverly Hills or some of these Hales Bar Dam and places like this, where people can go and we can do public events. We can do, if you want to rent the place out with a group of people and do investigations, that type of paranormal attraction. So that's something I'm trying to secure, an area here in the Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia area is a paranormal attraction. And I'm working with some people right now on it. There's some conversation going on. And if I can do this, then you guys out there, if you're in the Bristol area, if you're passing through here, you want to travel here, just like people travel to these other locations, Pennhurst and places like that, this will be a place that you guys can come. And we'll be looking at conducting what they call public investigations. So for people that's interested in experiencing what it's like to be an investigator, you can go to these public events. I know, like Bob, they hold them over there in his neck of the woods. SRS Paranormal, they do them a lot of times over like Johnson City, Kingsport area, and maybe even here in the Glade Springs area. So like they're in the local area. But we want to be able to offer those classes for people as well, to where you can show up. It's like $20 for a good time kind of thing, right? You show up and you get to listen to us talk for a few minutes, and then you get to go into these creepy location. This creepy location will have equipment. You'll get to be involved in the lights off, dowsing rod sessions, things like that, and you get to experience what it's like to do an investigation for the evening. So we want to bring those type of things to you guys. So yes, it's nice to see, and I'm glad to see some of you stuck around tonight. It's really good to see. I love that. Bob, oh my God. See, I did one in Jonesboro, a ghost hunt in Bumpus Cove Cemetery. Did you just yell at me, honey? I think my wife was just yelling at me from upstairs. I'm in my studio, so it's hard to hear. And normally she texts me, but I don't think I even have my phone on me right now all of a sudden. So, anyways. What? What did I miss? Okay. So apparently I missed something. So Dixie, you need to make this show every night. Thursday night event. The shows are always this good. Where the heck is my phone? I don't know where my phone is. Okay, sorry. See, this is now the show's getting awkward. Way to go, honey. All right, so my wife's coming down to the studio. Apparently, this is something I missed. So, FYI, there's a few lots for sale next door to the Skinwalker Ranch.
I accidentally called Bob Boob.
Oh, so nice, Tyler, and thank you, Boob. I'm gonna get demonetized. Not that I'm monetized, but they're gonna take down my show now.
Did you see what Bob said? He goes, "It's too late. I'm offended."
It's too late. I'm offended. All right. So Boob Fountain, Boob Fountain. Here we go. All right. So that was what the whole ruckus was about. So I guess my wife called Bob Boob. So see, our shows are crazy. We're not like some crazy structured show. We just do it off the cuff, man. We just make stuff up. We don't have notes. We don't do anything. We just call each other names. Yeah. But no, seriously, I really do appreciate you guys. You guys have been so awesome. And I really do hope we get to grow this community bigger and bigger. And I hope we do get to enjoy each other's company like this. There's so good interaction. You guys have been so good tonight. And the questions I love talking about. Again, that's part of this platform as well, is to educate other people that's not involved in the industry or that are curious about these things, that they get to actually see. Because what I also get a lot, and Terry Lynn too, is we get a lot of people that only were watching paranormal shows on TV, and then they started kind of looking and going to some of these shows, and then they hear about things. So they don't really get a true understanding of what it's like to be at some of these locations. And so crazy humor, laughing is always a good thing in the paranormal. That's true. And, I don't always, I try not to take it super serious. I mean, when I'm out in the field, yes, it's a little scary, especially when I'm by myself nowadays. And that's the thing, like when I'm by myself, it's worse because your mind plays tricks on you. And I still haven't edited when I was by myself at Nickerson Sneed Mansion. I'm working on that, guys. I'm sorry. I had to kind of get some other things out there. But being in a basement that's 200 plus years old that was used in a mortuary in the pitch darkness is a little nerve wracking. So, and apparently Boob Fountain has enjoyed the show. So thank you, Boob Fountain, for enjoying the show. But yes, every Thursday night, folks, for those of you that are the newer part of this crowd, bring some friends, have them subscribe. We're trying to build this community up because, again, I want paranormal channels, and not just my channel, SRS, Spectral Tech, some of these people that are good people. We want to boost and promote the good paranormal investigators. Go and sub to them. Build them up. Let's not keep blowing up the people that we know are faking it. God, we know they're faking it. There's some of them that are super, like, really bad about it. And they keep getting views. They keep getting subscribers. And it drives me crazy because it's like, God, you're making the paranormal world a joke, like as bad as they're doing. So yes, I don't want to get on that soapbox. We're having fun, joking around, talking about boobs. And now my video is going to get taken down for talking about boobs on YouTube. Oh, man, you guys are awesome. All right, so let's start trying to wrap this up, guys. It's been a long show. We still got a lot of work to do tonight. You know what, it's funny is I told Terry Lynn, I was like, look, we're just going to do a quick show tonight because we got a lot to do. And I'm thinking like I was going to try to keep it to like an hour, tonight. And you guys have had me. It's been a fun show just to hang out with you all. It really has been a good time. And we're at like an hour and 45 minutes. So we're 45 minutes past what I wanted to do. We still got we still got some more charging to finish off on our batteries. Got to finish off the laundry. Still got to pack tonight. Well, I got to pack for sure because I'm leaving first thing in the morning because I get to go do some B-roll. I got to go do some filming tomorrow first. So I'm going to be driving separate. And so I get to go do that and go film and get a head start so I can do all the fun stuff. Wash your fingers, boo. This show was a blast tonight, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Hey, thanks, Josh. This has been wonderful and look forward to more. Yes, thank you. And I've enjoyed your interaction too, B. I think there's definitely a good place for you here. Certainly I want you to be able to interact, share some experiences, ask some questions, or just do like Boob does. Boob always, he likes to bring up things for me to talk about because he knows that these are things that we need to cover sometimes. So he's always able to point things out for us. So thanks for Boob Fountain on that one. I need food. Spirits always make me hungry. Everyone, please join a Facebook group. Yeah. And if you're watching this through YouTube, we have a Facebook group. There's also a Facebook page, but we're really active on the group. Sometimes I like to pose theory questions. I'll do that every once in a while out of the blue, see what you guys think. Like naked ghosts. How come we don't really see a lot of ghosts naked? Or, period clothing. We'll talk about things. Don't see a lot of ghosts wearing Gucci or something. We just talk about a lot of weird things like that sometimes. Thought-provoking type stuff. Portals, these type of things. So join the Facebook group. Look for us. Sign up for the group if you're not part of that Facebook group. And let's see, what else? Thanks so much, Barbara. And glad you're here. I'm glad watch for you. Sure, Rob/Boob. Yeah, so new sub here. Barbara. Hey, Barbara. Love your content. Thank you so much. You guys, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, guys. It really means a lot to Terry Lynn and I that you guys enjoy our content. We work hard. Again, I'm no pro. I'm no pro yet. I'm still learning editing. I'm still learning filming, and there's a lot to do, guys. Like back in the day, we did investigations just old school. We just set up cameras on tripods. Hell, we didn't even walk around with video cameras sometimes. We had them on statics, and we walk around and take pictures and do the voice recorders. That was like those days. Now with all this tech and all this stuff, and then now YouTube. I guess I could probably take this comment off here now, huh? But yeah, we again, guys, I'm trying to do my best to keep bringing you better and better, newer content, but at least it's genuine content. So I appreciate you all as we start to wrap up. Did you guys have any last minute questions? Do ghosts scare other ghosts? I don't know. Maybe they do. I've never caught any examples of that. It does seem like it seems like there's been negative ghosts that other ghosts were afraid of. So technically, I guess you could say yes, ghosts could be scared by ghosts. I don't know if they're like, boo, like, hey, gotcha, good one, nice Joe, thanks. I don't know. Love the difference of your channel. Speaking of, what are your thoughts on skyquakes or trumpets? Wow. So this show is 50 minutes over. Now we're getting ready to go an extra overtime. So sky trumpets and skyquakes. Well, let's just talk about the noises, the trumpets. I guess again, you could look at scientific. There's always going to be science, right? Then there's the faith side. Science and faith typically are the opposites, right? Scientists are always trying to prove that nothing is God or biblical or beyond. It's all just science, right? And then you have your faith. And some people think that, hey, those sky trumpets could be part of that Revelations, right? If you're into the Bible. I study the Bible. I study other ancient scriptures. We could be in end of times, or it could simply be maybe something in between. It could be something paranormal or possibly even alien. You know, it's really going to depend on your views, in all honesty. I think it's pretty wild, though. I've watched some of the videos. I think it's interesting for sure. Now, I do know some situations have been debunked by the high pressure steam that was being let out. It was causing these huge shrieks and stuff like that, very demonic sounding screams almost, with the way they designed their release, these big pressure release things for these factories. Some of that, but now you probably are talking like the big, like, like those massive, and it's pretty scary sometimes. It really is to me. But hopefully that kind of asks your Earth is making noises, science like quakes. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If you're really into the science part of it too, I mean, you got to also think the Earth is a massive living thing, really, right? And it's just amazing. And there's some large scale stuff that, if you think about the history of this planet and some of the things that it went through on a massive scale, if some of that were to even happen on a small percentage, it would almost be a global killer to us. So yeah, I mean, some of these noises, when who knows if it's some of these continental shelvings or certain things rubbing together. I mean, I don't know, but it's still, being that I'm in the world of paranormal, sky trumpets to me sometimes are a little ominous. So, So yes, plate tectonics, exactly. That's kind of what I was talking about. It does things. I love the unexplainable, and that's the thing. Some of these things are just. There are some things that scientists have contributed to. And I'm not just talking about the sky trumpet. I'm talking about, there has been other things that scientists were like, hey, this is pretty much what it is. And then we find out later that it's not, and they were just taking an educated guess and then trying to make you feel like you're the ignorant one and that you shouldn't, believe in these things. So, who knows? I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to leave it open. But I always like to try to learn. I always do. I do try to like to learn what it might be. Tectonic plates in the sky. Well, and I think he's talking about the tectonic plates as they shift and make noise, and then it goes in the sky. And much like even like the Schumann resonance, right? When we have these, what is it, in the stratosphere with the frequencies that bounce around, and its potential that, yeah, some of the sounds are bouncing around, and it's going to sound like things are coming from the sky when it actually is echoing or sound that's emanating from the earth and coming back at you from the sky. So it's potential. Again, I can't rule out that, but I just wanted to offer a few different explanations for it, or potential explanations for it. Elastic rebound, yeah. To be a tree. A theory is only a theory until repeated attempts to prove it false have failed. Yes, they do, Barb. Bob said, one of my team members said sky trumpets were just angels passing gas. Okay. That sounds like something when you tell like your grandkid or something, you're like, Grandpa, what is that noise? And you're like, that's just the angels farting. And they're like, oh. Nice. Or like the thunder when they're like, no, that's the Angels bowling. Oh, that was sarcasm, joking ugly. Because not until joking, oops, gas is CO2, so probably. But yeah, oh man. We have talked about some craziness today, have we not? Like we talked about a lot of stuff today. Everything from sky trumpets to faking paranormal to but yeah. So as a recap, guys, excited. I'm excited. You guys should be excited. So for those those of you that are new, Beat and Barbara and stuff like that. Again, let me throw this up here real quick again. Okay. Paranormal Underground at live.com. If you don't have a copy of Paranormal Underground magazine, go email right here. Email this. Okay. Email them and tell them that the Everything Paranormal Show sent you and that you'd like to get their magazine, and they will give you a year for free, the digital copies sent to your email. Okay. So do that. All right. Also, guys, if you want to keep enjoying this type of stuff and this, the live shows, the field, because when we go out in the field, guys, okay, so if you guys love this interaction, remember, I'm going to go live from these locations this weekend. So you guys can pop on there. Now it's going to be on the Facebook. It won't be on the YouTube. So for those of you that's watching this on YouTube, make sure you join the Facebook group. The Facebook group is called, guess what? The Everything Paranormal Show group. Join the group. If you haven't already, join the group, because when I go live out in the field, see, I'm not monetized on YouTube. So that means I can't go live with my mobile device on YouTube. It's stupid. I know. But Facebook will let you. So that's when I'm out in the field, I go live on Facebook. So when I go to these 2 major locations this weekend, 2 major locations back to back, I'm going to go live from each one, assuming that I have some kind of internet signal. But I'm going to go live, and you guys can interact. We can talk. We can, maybe even do like a live dowsing rod session. You guys love that. So make sure you pay attention to the Facebook group in the evenings, Friday and Saturday evening. I know you're probably all going to go party, but stay home. Don't go party. And just sit at your Facebook all night until you see me pop on live. I know, you probably won't, but that's okay. But I'm looking forward to you guys showing up. I want to see you guys all show up because you guys are a great group of people. Maria Diaz, hey. So these 2 locations you're not going to want to miss. Again, I'm going to be live. Am I going to be able to run you through them live? Probably not. I'm going to be filming them and bringing it to you on the normal content, but I am going to go live while I'm out there, and we'll talk. I don't know. I'm going to try to find something we can do live while we're out there. So it'll be fun. Like I said, we'll maybe do a dowsing rod session, see how that goes, see who we can talk to. So try to post the group link. It wouldn't let me here, laugh out loud. Really? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Let me see if, before we go, maybe I can do the group link. Let me see here. Maybe it'll let me. I don't know if that's really like a link though, but anyways, just go to Facebook, guys. You know how to look for groups. Type in the Everything Paranormal Show group or whatever in the search, and you'll find me. Join it, and when we go live, that's usually what I try to go live to, is the group, because we have a page. So don't be confused by the page. I go live to the group. I like to include the actual people in the group. So Robert's like, Boob Fountain's like, yep, Josh all night. Okay, I know you want to go. Boob's got to go. He's got to go do his thing. All right. Request sent. Okay, yeah, and we'll approve all that too. Whatever you guys do. In fact, let me look. It says 2 people want to join this group. There we go. Approve all. There we go. So there, guys. I just approved you live, live on the stream. Awesome. Yes, and Maria said it is a good link. I'd never be able to do that tech part of vlogging, right? I'm not like the greatest techie. I mean, I do know some things tech wise, and I work on the internet and stuff. But okay, awesome. So let's start wrapping this up, guys. A reminder: pay attention. Friday, Saturday nights. I'm going to be coming up live. I don't know when exactly because I don't know. I know the schedule. I know the itinerary, but I just don't know when I'm going to have the opportunity to actually go live without interfering with other investigations. So just stay tuned, and I will go live for you guys. I'll give you guys like a window of opportunity before I really start doing anything cool, and we'll try to get everybody to join in. Again, thank you guys so much for tonight. I had a blast. You guys are awesome. Seriously, I love my chat. I love you guys. This is so fun. Like no meanies, no trolls. You guys have been so good. So thank you guys. So as always, guys, as we wrap this up, remember, I'm going to do the lives. And then if you missed the lives, hopefully you can watch them again on the replays. And then every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, join you back here. Now, I'm not going to always be in the studio. So for those of you newcomers, I haven't always been in the studio. I have been starting. My goal is every Thursday evening, I want to do something live for you guys, whether it's the studio like you see here, whether it's having a guest on, or if I don't do any of that, me live in the field at a haunted location or a potentially haunted location. So every Thursday at 9, we're going to do something live. Okay? All right. So, guys, I enjoyed every bit of tonight. You guys were so amazing. Love you guys. Remember, seek